Tonight's top stories. The impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte continued today. The palace weighs in on the mention of a defense lawyer of the number of votes that the vice president garnered, says this shouldn't be viewed or even used as a shield against accountability. Since being arrested and admitted at the Philippine National Police General Hospital or PNP-GH, attending physicians suggest the possibility of the embattled Senator Marcoleta staying longer in the healthcare facility due to various illnesses. All these and more on PTV News Tonight. Good evening. Welcome to PTV News Tonight. Day of the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte, the House prosecution panel asserted that its first witness, NBI senior agent John Mark Calilong, remained consistent throughout the defense's cross-examination. House impeachment advisor Robert Ace Barber stated that the defense failed to weaken Calilong's testimony, describing it as a positive development for the prosecution. Calilong, who authenticated the live stream in which the vice president allegedly threatened top government officials, defended his expertise in digital forensics and maintained that the video in question was not AI generated and was in fact an online press conference organized by the Office of the Vice President. Addressing questions from Senator Judge Erwin Tulfo, Calilong clarified that the NBI is authorized to investigate threats against top government officials, including the President and Vice President, even in the absence of a formal complaint from the individuals involved. Looking ahead, the prosecution has secured subpoenas for its next set of witnesses, including NBI Regional Director, OVP Chief of Staff, and Legislative Security Bureau Executive Director. The court has also directed both sides to submit memoranda regarding the BIR box issue, with oral arguments scheduled for Wednesday. The House prosecution panel defended the integrity of one of its key witnesses on the third day of the impeachment trial against Vice President Sara Duterte, dismissing the defense panel's cross-examination tactics as misleading while preparing to summon further witnesses in the coming week. Sheila Natividad gets us up to speed on the third day of the proceedings.
Hindi po natibag o hindi nabutasan ang testimonya na inilatag o ibinigay ng ating witness.
The House prosecution panel said its first witness, NBI senior agent John Mark Calilong, remained consistent during the third day of the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. During the cross-examination, the defense panel largely questioned Calilong about the documents he had previously submitted, including his sworn affidavits and records related to the NBI's investigation. The prosecution also raised several objections, with Private Prosecutor Attorney Amando Virgil Ligutan arguing that some of the defense questions were misleading and only assumed facts that had yet to be established before the impeachment court.
For the record, Your Honor, please, that document is not yet presented in courts as a documentary evidence, Your Honor, please. So highly improper for the defense to elicit that document through this witness, precisely because this witness did not yet identify the affidavit of investigation.
After the hearing, House Impeachment Advisor Robert Ace Barber said the defense failed to weaken Calilong's testimony, adding that the witness remained consistent from the start of the investigation through his appearance before the impeachment court.
Yan ay isang magandang development at aming nakita na sa susunod na mga araw mailalatag pa rin ang mga ebidensyang inihanda ng ating prosecution panel.
The House prosecution panel also cautioned against drawing early conclusions, saying the impeachment trial is still in its early stages. Meanwhile, impeachment prosecutor Ramon Rodrigo Gutierrez said the proceedings should be judged by the strength of the evidence presented.
This is not the process, the whole process of impeachment trial is not about yung paramihan po ng mga motion that was granted or paramihan po ng puntos na binibilang po ng ating mga kababayan na nanonood. But it's actually about the quality of the questions that are being asked.
Meanwhile, the House Prosecution Panel has also secured subpoenas for its next set of witnesses. On July 13, the panel is set to present NBI Regional Director Attorney Jeremy Lotok. This will be followed by OVP Chief of Staff Attorney Zulaika Lopez on July 14 and House Legislative Security Bureau Executive Director former AFP Captain Belinda Bello on July 15. Meanwhile, the prosecution said it will inform the impeachment court next week whether NBI Director Melvin Matibag can also be presented as a witness. Sheila Natividad for The Nation.
Call it harebrained, moronic, or outright asinine, but the argument the Vice President's legal camp espouses that winning the popular vote by a landslide entitles a government officer to acts of corruption, abuse of power, and evade accountability is totally counter to public service and good governance. The latest pushback from the palace and the developments in the ongoing impeachment trial of the Vice President, who still won't show up in the proceedings, as our Marco Sadi reports.
Ang usapan po dito ay accountability, transparency, at of course, sinasabi natin dapat, kung liable ka, managot ka.
The palace said the votes garnered by Vice President Sara Duterte do not give her a license to escape trial over the allegations filed against her. Malacanang made a statement following the argument raised by Duterte's defense team during the Vice President's impeachment trial. The defense argued that removing the Vice President from office would disregard the will of the 32 million Filipinos who voted for Duterte.
Kung yan ang susundin natin na reason o argumento, ibig mong sabihin kahit na 100% ng mga Pilipino ang boboto sa isang public servant, pwede rin siyang gumawa ng mga impeachable offenses.
Among the articles of impeachment now being heard against Duterte are the alleged misuse of confidential funds, unexplained wealth, bribery, and the alleged threats to assassinate President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Kaya nga po meron tayong provision sa Constitution ng impeachment. Dahil ito lamang po ang paraan na maaaring makapagpatalsik sa isang public servant na umubuso ng kapangyarihan at nagsagawa ng mga impeachable offenses. Hindi po usapan ito ng numero ng mga bumoto.
On the second day of the impeachment trial, Duterte went to the Senate but not to appear before the impeachment court. Instead, she met with her lawyers. Duterte described her impeachment as a bloodbath, saying it would be bloody but she would not be intimidated or surrender. The palace said the remarks sounded familiar.
So, meron siya naging basihan at nakita rin natin to sa social media. Mula kay William Ernest Henley ng Invictus. So, kinatuwa natin na sa ngayon ay may nagiging basihan na si Vice Presidente ng kanyang mga sinasabi. Well, anyway, feeling niya na bloodbath ito at alam naman natin na ito ang kanyang hiniling.
Instead of facing the media, Malacanang said,
Mas na naisin siguro ang taong bayan na madinig mismo kay Vice Presidente ang pagtanggi ng mga akusasyon sa kanya, hindi lang puro technicalities ang ginagawang depensa.
Marco Sadi for The Nation.
The rigid security in the Senate premises and in the building's defense perimeter has eased with considerably less protesters from both the anti-Vice President and the pro-VP groups showing up today. Thus, the PNP saw it fit to pull back deployment from 3,000 to barely 1,400 policemen on active guard duty. Then again, expect police security to ramp up back to its usual numbers when the impeachment trial resumes Monday next week, as our Vincent Elijah Canlas reports.
Security has slightly loosened around the Senate today, the third and final day for this week's impeachment proceedings against Vice President Sara Duterte. This change in implemented protocols is noticeable as the hearing continues before the scheduled break this week. According to PNP Police Major Hazel Asilo, around 1,422 PNP personnel were deployed around the building today to monitor the situation. As of this afternoon, no rallies from either side were seen planning to hold the program. However, a few supporters of the VP BP were still spotted in the area. The metal wire barriers blocking the stretch of Diokno Boulevard over the past 2 days were temporarily removed from the center and set aside. This step was taken today because no rallies were seen along said road. Thus, the road is now open to a few motorists, but strict inspection for the area security still continues. A strict verification process is still being implemented for all individuals entering the Senate building itself. Only those on the Senate verified list are allowed inside the Senate building. Checkpoint posts are also stationed at both ends of Diokno Boulevard to monitor passing vehicles. Elijah Canlas for The Nation.
In the meantime, Senator Rodante Marcoleta's tough veneer and unyielding demeanor have totally wilted under the tremendous stress of impending detention weighing heavily on his mind. So much so, he has fallen prey to hypertension, fatigue, and even the onset of a mild pneumonia aggravated by a spine ailment that just won't go away, as we hear more from our Ryan Lisiges on a likely extended confinement at the PGH.
Despite having no court-approved hospital arrest order yet, Senator Rodante Marcoleta was taken directly to the PNP General Hospital after being arrested at the Sandigan Bayan on Monday over a plunder case. The PNP maintains the senator is not receiving any special treatment. According to PNP Chief Police General Jose Melencio Naratates Jr., Marcoleta was admitted to the PNP General Hospital because he requires medical attention.
VIP treatment. Nakakulong na siya, paano? Nakakulong sa ospital. O pwede naman kayo pumunta doon, makita niyo ang kulungan doon.
Meanwhile, Public Information Office Acting Chief Police Colonel Allen Rayco said that although Marcoleta is confined at the PNP General Hospital, he remains under the custody of the CIDG. Marcoleta's stay at the hospital may be extended. He is expected to undergo rehabilitation therapy for his degenerative disc disease, a condition affecting his cervical spine.
Ko-complain talaga siya ng nape pain at saka dizziness talaga. Dahil doon sa cervical spine na nakita niya. Kaya po ako nagpa-x-ray sa kanya ng cervical spine kasi yun po yung complaint talaga niya nung dumating siya sa amin.
Doctors also diagnosed Marcoleta with mild pneumonia. The lawmaker's condition is reportedly clinically stable. However, he has yet to receive medical clearance to be discharged from the hospital. Since his admission to the PNP General Hospital, his blood pressure has remained elevated at around 160/90, a level doctors consider risky for a 72-year-old patient like Marcoleta.
Ang 160/90 po is considered as hypertensive stage 2. Sa edad niya, mataas po yun. Mataas po yung 160/90 para po sa kanya. Kaya meron po siyang mga simptomas na chest pain, mga nape pain, mga ganun po.
The PNP General Hospital said stress appears to be a major contributing factor to the senator's current health condition.
Hypertensive po si Senator Marcoleta po talaga eh. So kung syempre, isa na yon, stress, hindi naman mawawala po yun. Kaya lang, baka po kasi dati nang ganon yung BP po ni Senator Marcoleta. Kasi meron na po siyang maintenance medication po eh.
Meanwhile, at past 11 a.m. today, Marcoleta's wife was seen arriving at the PNP General Hospital to visit the senator. Ryan Lisiges for The Nation.
Senator Rodante Marcoleta has expressed in separate instances that he is ready to face jail time even before the issuance of arrest warrants against him. A few days after the arrest, the senator still remains at the PNP General Hospital for medical reasons. So the court ordered submission of reports from PNP CIDG and PNP GH regarding his current status. Rod Lagusad tells us more in this report.
The Sandigan Bayan 3rd Division has ordered PNP CIDG and CR Chief Police Colonel John Giagi and the PNP General Hospital to submit a report on the current status of the custody, booking process, and medical condition of Senator Rodante Marcoleta. According to the court, the report must be submitted within 24 hours. The court also clarified that the return of warrant for Marcoleta has not yet been completed. In this regard, no commitment order has been issued yet because the booking process has not been completed and the senator has yet to appear again before the court. Earlier, the clerk Clerk of Court of the Sandigan Bayan 3rd Division said that the medical report is a requirement for the booking process. The clerk added that until the report from the PNP-CIDG is submitted, the court will not take any action. Marcoleta remains at the PNP General Hospital after being taken there by the PNP-CIDG to receive medical attention. Marcoleta is expected to be detained at the Quezon City Jail, male dormitory, where his co-accused former Representative Mike Defensor, Joseph Espiritu, and Aristotle Viray are currently being held. This is in relation to the charges of plunder and violation of Presidential Decree No. 46, which prohibits public officials from accepting gifts in relation to the alleged campaign donations received by Marcoleta. Meanwhile, the scheduled arraignment of Marcoleta and the other accused on Friday, July 10, will no longer push through. This is because the court must first resolve the pending motions filed by the accused. Marcoleta, Defensor, and Espiritu have filed motions to quash, while Viray has filed a motion for bail. According to the court, the process also includes the prosecution's comment as well as the reply from the defense. In this regard, no new date has yet been set for the arraignment. Meanwhile, the Sandigan Bayan 3rd Division has another 30 days extension to resolve the bail petition of former Senator Bong Revilla and his co-accused officials of the DPWH Bulacan 1st District Engineering Office. This is in connection with the malversation case involving the alleged 92.8 million peso ghost flood control project in Pandi, Bulacan. According to the court, the draft resolution must still undergo review and revision before it can be finalized. Rod Lagusad for The Nation.
The Metro Manila Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or the DRRMC, is preparing for heavy rains and potential flooding in northern Luzon and Metro Manila. This as Super Typhoon Inday enters the Philippine area of responsibility, prompting authorities to activate a blue alert status starting tomorrow. J.M. Thompson has the full report.
Heavier rains are expected this coming Friday and Saturday according to the latest assessment by DOST Pag-asa. After Super Typhoon Inday officially entered the Philippine Area of Responsibility or PAR at 3 o'clock this morning, the Metro Manila Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or MMDRRMC, immediately held a meeting to prepare for the impact of the Super Typhoon in several areas in northern Luzon and Metro Manila.
As early as last week, kahit nang malayo pa yung bagyo, may mga paghahanda na tayo. Maintenance Director George, nag-meeting na sila last week ng mga technical staff, mga DRRMOs ng mga LGUs. At nagkaroon na sila ng pagpupulong regarding preparations, inventory ng assets, pre-positioning ng assets, preemptive evacuation plan.
Although Inday will not make landfall on the Philippine landmass, heavy rains and fast flooding are still expected as its impact, especially in low-lying areas in Metro Manila due to the southwest monsoon. MMDA Chair Attorney Don Artes emphasized that a clean drainage system is important for the continuous flow of water in the canals to accelerate the subsiding of floods. The MMDRRMC is also encouraging the initiation of trimming branches blocking public areas and rolling down billboards in Metro Manila to ensure the safety of the people. Metro Manila Council President Francis Zamora added that it is also important to run the pumping stations to test if they are working properly and also to know if there is enough crude oil running them by the time they need to be used. MMDA Chair Attorney Don Artes assured that all of more than 70 pumping stations inside Metro Manila are operational, which will help the quick recession of floodwaters in several areas. But he has a request to our countrymen.
Yung pagtatapon po ng basura, kasi yan po ay malaking epekto doon sa pagbara sa mga daluyan ng tubig. Marami tayong nakikitang flash floods na pag naalis naman natin yung basura, mabilis talagang humukupa yung tubig. It's just that kahit anong linis namin, minsan kahit every week, nililinis namin, pabalik-balik pa talaga yung basura, which means wala rin pong tigil yung pagtatapon.
Blue alert status will be in effect starting tomorrow to quickly respond to needs, especially in times of disaster. The OCD is also coordinating with the DPWH to identify flood-prone areas and to deploy mobile pumps that will help floods subside quickly. MMDA personnel continuously clean the drainage system, and the MMDRRMC is also preparing equipment and evacuation areas in case some residents need to evacuate their areas for their safety.
Huwag na natin hintayin kung kailan mataas ang tubig, tsaka pa lang tayo lilikas sapagkat delikado po yan para sa inyo at delikado po yan sa mga taong sasalba sa inyo. So mas mabuti na huwag na natin hintayin pa yung pagkakataon na kung kailan delikado na para sa lahat na mag-evacuate tsaka parang tayo lilikas. Let us already move into our evacuation centers even before the waters rise.
DOST Pag-asa continues to monitor Super Typhoon Inday, but for now, it is expected to exit the Philippine area of responsibility on Saturday or Sunday to make landfall in mainland China. Possible suspension of classes is also expected in cities affected by the typhoon, so Zamora is encouraging the public to tune in and always stay updated by watching news programs. J.M. Thompson, for The Nation.
Super Typhoon Inday with international name Bavi has officially entered the Philippine Area of Responsibility or PAR, pulling the southwest monsoon toward it, which is expected to bring rain pouring across the country. With this, government agencies are ramping up disaster response efforts, including preemptive evacuations and widespread sea travel cancellations. Vel Custodio details this report.
The Office of Civil Defense or OCD is intensifying coordination with various agencies and local government units affected by Super Typhoon Inday, following its entry into the Philippine Area of Responsibility or PAR this morning. Preemptive evacuations are already underway in vulnerable areas with priority given to sectors such as senior citizens and persons with disabilities.
Itong pinalabas nating direktiba ayon na rin sa ay pinag-utos ng ating Pangulo. Unang-una po yung pre-disaster risk assessment and scenario building nung iba't ibang mga DRRM councils and committees. Ibig sabihin po, dapat nilang malaman dun sa kanya-kanyang lugar saan, kailan, at gaano katindi yung tatama sa kanilang hangin, ulan, pagbaha, pagguho ng lupa.
According to Pag-asa, the Super Typhoon is enhancing the southwest monsoon, which may bring heavy rains to other parts of the country.
Sa ngayon, ayon sa Pag-asa, pumasok na ito sa Philippine Area of Responsibility. Tinitingnan pa din na ang tatahakin nito ay ito nga pong extreme northern Luzon and eastern Luzon ng ating bansa. Pero ang binabantayan kasi natin dito, hindi lang itong bagyong Inday, kundi yung hahatakin at saka hihilahin nito na hanging habagat. Kaya ibig sabihin po, hindi lang yung extreme northern Luzon ang dapat pong maghanda dahil meron pa pong mga pag-ulan na dulot ng habagat at localized thunderstorms sa Luzon, sa Visayas, at kasama na rin dyan yung Mindanao na yun nga ang mauuna actually na may mga pag-ulan.
Sea travel has been temporarily prohibited following the gale warning raised over northern Luzon.
As of this 11 a.m., info galing po ito sa ating Department of Science and Technology sa Pag-asa po. Gale warning number 1, they issued as of 11 a.m. Northeastern seaboard of northern and central Luzon. Weather condition natin, makaka-experience ng rainy with gusty winds. So yung wave height po natin nasa 2.8 to 4.5 meters. At ganoon din po sa eastern seaboard of Visayas. So ito yung mga taas ng alon na inaasahan natin. Kaya po with this regard, hindi po natin ini-encourage or we do not allow any fishing bangka and any vessel to venture out of the sea dito sa mga areas na ito.
The Philippine Coast Guard or PCG and Disaster Risk Reduction Management Offices are focused on evacuating residents in flood-prone areas and those living near coastlines. The agency is also coordinating with Philippine Ports Authority on the canceled trips. Under the PCG's no-sail policy, several trips had been cancelled, including Odiongan to Batangas, Jagna Bohol to Balbagon, Camiguin, and vice versa. Trips from the ports of San Ricardo and Calbayog in Eastern Leyte and Samar. Trips from ports of Calapan, Lubang, and Puerto Galera in Mindoro. Coronto, El Nido, and vice versa. And trips from Zamboanga to Sulu and Tawi-Tawi. Meanwhile, the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD is preparing 4.7 million family food packs for provinces that may be affected by Typhoon Inday.
Sa bilang po na iyan, nasa mahigit 105,000 family food packs ang nakapreposition sa mga warehouses natin in Region 1. Gayon din po in Region 2, more than 217,000 family food packs have been prepositioned. At sa bilang po na iyan, mahigit 23,000 family food packs ang nasa warehouses natin dyan po sa probinsya ng Batanes. So nakahanda na po ang Department of Social Welfare and Development na tumulong sa ating pong mga lokal na pamahalaan na maaari nga pong maapektuhan nitong si Bagyong Inday.
The agency continues to coordinate with LGUs on this. Meanwhile, PCG reminded the public to stay updated with the advisory from local government units, know which area will be affected by the super typhoon and monsoon rains, and prepare medicines and go bags. Val Custodio for The Nation.
Proper nourishment or providing nutritious food to a child in his or her formative years during preschool, preparatory and up to 6th grade sets the stage for one's learning capabilities, immunity from illness, and overall physical and mental health. Ergo, today's launch of government's school-based feeding program for preschool kids up to grade 6 learners bankrolled by a 26 billion budget for the rest of the school year. Our Marco Sadi tells us more.
Jeline could not hold back her emotions when we spoke with her. Her grade 2 child is underweight and she said their family has been struggling financially as her husband's income from odd jobs is not enough to support their daily needs.
Mga anak mo sila, tapos hindi mo maibigay yung mga gusto nila, lalo-lalo na yung mga sa school, mga pangangailangan nila. Siyempre sir, mahirap din siya talaga. Kumbaga, wala kayong choice kasi kasi hindi nyo sila mapag-aral. Parang gano'n na lang, parang pagkakasyahin nyo na lang yung budget nyo sa araw-araw.
This is what the government aims to address. Earlier today, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. led the launch of the School-Based Feeding Program or SBFP and milk feeding activity for school year 2026-2027 at the Pulilan Central School in Bulacan. The activity also marked the celebration of Nutrition Month this July. Under the expanded SBFP, all kindergarten and grade 1 learners will receive universal feeding, with malnourished students from grade 2 to grade 6 to be provided with nutritious meals and milk. The program will run for 180 days funded by a 26 billion peso budget.
Alam niyo po, meron tayong feeding program noon pero kulang-kulang dahil namimili pa tayo kung sino yung mga kulang ang pagkain, hindi nakakain ng mabuti, kahit hindi makapag-aral ng mabuti. Natuklasan naman namin na karamihan naman ay dapat talaga pakainin na lang natin, wag na natin piliin kung sino yung mga dapat bigyan at sino hindi kasama sa feeding program at ginawa po natin kagaya ng sabi ni Seksani.
The President emphasized that students' nutrition must be a priority as it serves as the foundation of their learning. He said the program will also help prevent illness and address stunting, one of the challenges the government continues to tackle.
Ito ay napakalaking bagay para sa akin, dahil alam naman natin na kung minsan ang nagiging dahilan kung bakit hindi makapag-aral na mabuti yung mga kabataan ay kulang sa pagkain. At kaya tinanggal na natin yung problema na yan para tiyak tayo na lahat ng mga pumapasok na nag-aaral ay hindi na kailangan alalahanin ang kanilang kakainin, hindi na alalahanin ang kanilang mga pamilya, ang pamahalaan na ang tutulong at ang pamahalaan na ang magpapakain.
The program has brought relief to Jeline and many other parents who stand to benefit from such initiative.
Sobrang malaking tulong siya, sir, kasi pag hindi ko sila halimbawa sa isang araw, di naman po sa araw-araw ganun hindi ko ma-sustento yung kailangan nila. Dito, may bibigay ng eskwelahan para sa kanila.
Dahil hindi naman po namin lahat na i-provide na bilang magulang, na i-provide yung lahat ng gusto niyang kainin. Kaya malaking pasalamat po namin, sir, na nasali po yung isa kong anak.
Hirap din po kasi kami. Minsan, 2 beses lang kami. Kung minsan, pinapakain ko pa sa gabi, laki me. Wala kami sapat na pambili ng ulam.
Kaya malaking bagay itong
Opo, malaking tulong po. Kaya sa tanghali po, nakakalibre na po silang kumain.
Apart from improving students' nutrition, the President said the program will also benefit local farmers.
Isa pang naging tulong na nangyari dahil dito sa programang ito ay yung mga local na supplier. Yun po ang inuuna namin. Hindi kami bumibili sa mga lalaking grocery. Hanggat maaari, lahat ng ibinibigay ng pamahalaan, hindi lamang dito sa feeding program, pati sa DSWD, lahat po ng ahensya ng gobyerno, inuuna po bilhin ang mga lokal na produkto.
A joint administrative order was also signed today between the Department of Education and the Department of Agriculture. The agreement formalizes the framework for supply mapping, quality assurance, and local milk procurement in partnership with the National Dairy Authority and the Philippine Carabao Center.
Hopefully, kasi syempre alam niyo naman year to year ang budgeting natin. So kami aapela muli sa ating opisyales at syempre sa legislatura na pondohan ito, napakagandang programa.
Pondo namin magagamit namin sa pagbili ng gatas na ibibigay sa DepEd for school feeding. So definitely direct purchase to sa mga farmer co-ops natin at the right price na maging profitable sila.
Marcos Sadi for The Nation.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has announced the official implementation of an 85 peso wage hike for workers in the National Capital Region, or NCR. The president has directed the Regional Tripartite Wage Board to continue studying the implementation of similar salary adjustments across other regions before the end of 2026, underscoring the government's priority for worker welfare. The palace says this increase represents the highest wage growth in the last 4 years since 2023.
Ito na ang pinakamaraming pagtaas ng sahod sa nakalipas na 4 na taon. Simula 2023, umaabot sa 7% ang average increase per wage order. At sa 85 pesos na increase, umabot na sa 210 pesos ang kaabuuang naaprobahang salary increase para sa mga manggagawa. Polo Marcos Jr., prioridad ng pamahalaan ang kapakanan ng mga manggagawa.
The country's status of employment continues to hold sway against the headwinds of inflation and the repercussions of a long-standing Middle East conflict, so says the latest numbers laid out by national statistician Dennis Mapa earlier today, citing a slight uptick in the unemployment rate, but countered by a dip in the number of Filipinos with or seeking double or even triple jobs. Our Carlo Candelaria lays down the latest PSA numbers in this report.
The number of employed Filipinos remain high according to the latest labor force survey released today by the Philippine Statistics Authority. More than 49.6 million Filipinos were employed in May 2026, translating to an employment rate of 95.2%. Meanwhile, the underemployment rate declined to 12.2%, meaning fewer employed Filipinos sought additional working hours or extra sources of income to meet their needs. The unemployment rate, however, ended up slightly to 4.8%. National Statistician Undersecretary Claire Dennis Mapa said one of the sectors that posted a significant decline in employment was agriculture and forestry, particularly rice and corn farming.
Ang nakikita namin, basically, siguro impact ito ng weather condition nitong May 2026. Alam naman natin na may El Nino tayo, papasok. And this is also one possibility.
Meanwhile, the Department of Labor and Employment said the latest labor force survey shows that the country's labor market remains resilient despite continuing economic challenges. Labor Secretary Francis Tolentino emphasized that the government's goal is not only to create more jobs but also to generate quality employment that provides decent homes, improves the capabilities of Filipino workers, and prepares them for the jobs of the future. Carlo Luis Candelaria for The Nation.
Assistant Secretary Neil Adrian Cabiles of the Office of the Chief Economist at the Department of Finance confirmed that the World Bank's recognition of the Philippines as the country achieved this step. The Philippines' upgraded status is expected to strengthen the country's investment and credit profiles, which could lead to increased investments and create more working or livelihood opportunities for Filipinos.
Amin po sa DOF, makakaasa po tayo na walang tigil ang aming pagsusumikap na protektahan ang paglago at pag-unlad ng ating ekonomiya at ng kapakanan ng ating lipunan.
The Philippines' gross international reserves rose to $104.8 billion at the end of June, reaching a 3-month high, according to the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. The central bank said the higher reserve level strengthens the country's ability to pay for imports, meet foreign debt obligations, and protect the economy from external financial shocks. The increase was mainly driven by higher foreign currency deposits of the national government and gains from the BSP's overseas investments. Economists also expect the country's reserves to remain supported in the coming months by steady remittances from overseas Filipino workers, business process outsourcing revenues, exports, and the continued recovery of tourism. The Philippines and South Korea are strengthening their economic partnership through new investments in manufacturing, semiconductors, shipbuilding, and infrastructure. The Finance Department said the collaboration is expected to create more quality jobs, enhance key industries, and improve the country's global competitiveness. Officials also discussed major projects, including the expansion of semiconductor manufacturing in Laguna and the launch of the first locally built vessel at Subic this year. Both countries also reaffirmed their commitments to advancing key railway projects and exploring cooperation in nuclear energy to support long-term economic growth.
Despite the country's increased need for imported rice to fill out a huge shortfall from local production, as evidenced by an all-time high volume posted in the first half of this year, the Department of Agriculture assured the nation's rice farmers their yield or harvest of unhusked rice will be bought at a fair farm gate price. This vow, along with the DA's pronouncement to halt rice importation once fuel prices drop and stabilize, and the ravages of El Nino ease, as we hear more from our Gab Humilde.
The country's rice imports have grown even larger, an all-time high according to the Department of Agriculture. According to the latest data from the DA, around 2.7 million metric tons of imported rice arrived in the country from January to June this year. This is higher compared to the 2.2 million metric tons volume of imported rice that entered the country during the same period last year. This is 20% higher, or equivalent to more than 470,000 metric tons. According to the DA, the country is facing different challenges now, which is why the country's rice imports are high.
May challenge tayo doon sa mataas na presyo ng petrolyo na makakaapekto doon sa gastusin ng ating mga magsasaka at saka doon sa transport cost, of course. Pangalawa, yung tumaas yung presyo ng fertilizer, bagamat ngayon ang laki na uli nung ibinaba. And panghuli, yung looming effect ng El Nino, specifically nitong na-announce na ng Pag-asa, bagamat sa huling bahagi ng taon yung pinaka-epekto nun.
Despite this, the department assured that farmers will not suffer come harvest time in September despite the influx of imported rice. Some of the agency's measures include the National Food Authority increasing the farm gate price for purchasing unhusked rice or palay, as well as a planned importation ban during the harvest season. The DA also continuously reviews whether it is necessary to implement an importation ban.
Kailangan din natin ng enough supply na mura, ma-assure natin yung stability ng volume natin hanggang end of the year. So meron din tayong careful balance on that para masigurado na hindi magtataas.
The resolution of the National Price Coordinating Council recommending a 2-month extension of the price cap on imported rice has been submitted to Malacanang. Meanwhile, the DA is also preparing for the possible impact of Super Typhoon Indai's onslaught. According to the department, the downpour of rain from the typhoon will help as water levels in dams continue to drop. Gab Humilde Villegas for The Nation.
Bank lending and domestic liquidity in the Philippines accelerated in May, reflecting continued economic expansion. This according to data released by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP. Outstanding loans from universal and commercial banks grew by 12.1% year-on-year, reaching 14.98 trillion pesos. This was primarily driven by a 12.6% increase in resident loans. Business lending rose by 11.7%, with significant activity in the real estate, manufacturing, utilities, and trade sectors, while consumer loans grew by 19%. Domestic liquidity, or M3, expanded by 12.8% to 20.6 trillion pesos, supported by sustained borrowing from both the public and private sectors. The BSP noted that this liquidity facilitates essential economic activities, including consumption, investment, and lending. The third day of the Vice President's impeachment trial featured one witness/resource person, the same one from yesterday, NBI Special Agent John Mark Calilong. And the defense tried its darnest to cast doubt on Calilong's report with specious arguments like the lack of media affidavits but to little avail. And as our Bernard Ferrer reports, Calilong's credentials as a video and computer forensics guy with training in social media analytics is formidable and unassailable.
On the third day of the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte, the defense panel conducted its cross-examination of NBI Senior Agent John Mark Calilong. The cross-examination was led by Attorney Carlo Joaquin Arvasa. Calilong is the investigator who authenticated the live stream in which Vice President Duterte allegedly threatened President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez on November 23, 2024. During cross-examination, the defense scrutinized Calilong's training to determine whether he possessed sufficient qualifications in digital forensics. The defense also presented MaxScores Corporation documents and websites where Calilong received his training. Also presented during the hearing was a video Attorney Zulaika Lopez, Chief of Staff of Vice President Duterte, protesting the plan to transfer her to the Women's Correctional Facility in Mandaluyong. The defense also examined the transcript prepared by Calilong from Vice President Duterte's online press conference held on November 23, 2024. In response to question from Senator Judge Rafi Tulfo about his experience, Calilong explained that he has experience in social media analytics. Calilong also maintained that the video contained Vice President Duterte's alleged threats was not AI-generated.
Based on my experience, Your Honor, and the video itself, it's a 2 hours long. Normally, an AI-generated video will only last a short second, sir.
He further stated that the online press conference was organized by the Office of the Vice President and was attended by 40 participants, including members of the mainstream media. When asked by Senator Judge Francis Kiko Pangilinan about his other training, Calilong enumerated his professional training and credentials to establish his expertise.
I have a training in Certified Computer Hacking Forensic Investigator. I have a training in Computer Forensic, Mobile Forensic, and photo and video authentication training. I have also training in cybercrime investigation. We also undergone a 480 hours training on cybersecurity and a training before we start the bureau.
Senator Judge Rizon de Veros asked the defense to explain the relevance of Lopez's video to the case. The defense argued that Vice President Duterte's alleged threats or incitement stem from the events surrounding Lopez's detention. Meanwhile, Senator Judge Erwin Tulfo asked whether it falls under the NBI's mandate to file cases against individuals who threaten the president and other high-ranking government officials, even without a personal complaint from the alleged victims.
Ang basis namin doon, Your Honor, is yung primary objective namin to investigate cases to the threat to the President, Vice President, Senate President, Supreme Court. And if we found that the evidence is enough that there is a crime committed, we will file a case because that's the output of our investigation, sir.
Kahit po ba na hindi yung biktima, in this case yung Pangulo, biktima ng threat, kahit na hindi siya nagreklamo, automatic po yun, kahit na hindi siya nagreklamo sa inyo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Vice President Duterte's defense team maintained that there is no evidence showing that she contracted or directed an assassin. Meanwhile, the impeachment court directed both the prosecution and the defense to submit their respective memoranda regarding the issue of the BIR box. Oral arguments on the matter are scheduled to be held on Wednesday. Bernard Ferret for The Nation.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has called on government-owned and controlled corporations, or GOCCs, to maintain fiscal discipline following their significant contribution of 140 billion pesos in dividends to the national government. Highlighting the importance of these funds, the president stated that this collection supports essential government programs and services without the need to impose additional taxes on Filipinos. A total of 50 GOCCs have declared 147.15 billion pesos in dividends for the year, with a remaining balance expected to be remitted before the year ends. The president noted that these funds could finance critical infrastructure, including approximately 40,000 classrooms, 165,000 housing units, or up to 9,300 kilometers of farm-to-market roads. He urged GOCCs to prioritize public service, modernization, and responsible fund management, emphasizing that every peso remitted strengthens the government's capacity to serve the people. And in other news, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has appointed former DILG Secretary Ben-Hur Abalos Jr. as the new cabinet secretary. Abalos took his oath of office before the president today. As the new cabinet secretary, he will serve as the primary advisory body, focusing on policy coordination, information sharing, and addressing issues across various government agencies. It can be recalled last June when the president expressed that he wants Abalos to take on a more active role in the government without having the need to remove somebody from a position.
The Department of Agriculture, or DA, is advocating for the extension of the 50 peso price cap on imported rice. According to DA Secretary Francisco Tiu Laurel Jr., the agency is hoping for the approval within the next 30 to 60 days. This measure aims to ensure stable supply and prices while awaiting the harvest season in August or September. To recall, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. originally implemented a one-month price ceiling on May 13 to curb unreasonable price hikes and prevent market abuse. As a result of the tragic mass shooting at the Leyte National High School last month, which left 3 students dead and even injured, the Department of Education has organized an active shooting drill exercises in a number of public schools nationwide beginning this Friday. This safety learning drill seeks to prep learners on what to do when the shooting starts or in the event other acts of violence erupt on campus or inside classrooms. The scheduled activity for Friday was conceived in large part for the prodding of the president to ensure student protection and entails intensified security measures and adjustments in public school campuses and classrooms. Assisting the DepEd in the activity is the Philippine National Police, which will provide instructions in dealing with bomb threats. Likewise, DepEd Chief Secretary Sonny Angara said, understanding the need and administration of psychological first aid will be part of the activity. The city of Muntinlupa had a return engagement for government food assistance to the poor, indigent, and vulnerable sectors earlier today with the First Lady's Mula sa Puso para sa Pamilya rice distribution program. Today's turnover ceremony was a sequel or follow-up to the president's visit in early May for his Bawat Bayan Makikinabang assistance project, in which some 1,900 or 1,900 pre-selected families from the indigent sectors received 10-kilogram bags of rice from the First Lady, with San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora and Muntinlupa LGU Chief Rufi Biazon lending a hand. An estimated 3,000 family beneficiaries each received the same 10-kilo bags of rice to include some 600 women and children from the Gender and Development or GAD office, over 1,200 from the Urban Poor Affairs Group, another 1,200 from the ESC Kabalikat and the city's fisherfolk organizations. Muntinlupa Mayor Rufy Biazon extended his heartfelt thanks to First Lady Liza Aranete Marcos for coming back to the city after the president's first visit in May.
Authorities in Catanduanes have intensified preparations as Super Typhoon Inday threatens the province, with fishermen moving their boats to safer areas ahead of the storm. Sea travel has been suspended in areas under Tropical Cyclone Wind Signal number 1, while local disaster response agencies continue to coordinate readiness measures. The Catanduanes Police Provincial Office has also placed its disaster response teams on standby for possible rescue, relief, and emergency operations. Officials said the early preparations are in line with the national government's directive to prioritize public safety.
Authorities in the Cagayan Valley have raised a blue alert as Super Typhoon Inday threatens to bring heavy rainfall to the Babuyan Islands in Batanes. Local disaster officials have urged communities in flood and landslide-prone areas to prepare for possible preemptive evacuations, while fishermen have moved their boats to safer locations. More than 200 million pesos worth of relief supplies has been placed on standby to support affected residents if needed. Despite the threat, some farmers are hopeful that the expected rains will help replenish Magat Dam and ease drought conditions in agricultural areas.
We'll now give you the latest buzz here at Pop Culture Corner. First up, Pablo of the P-pop group SB19 is set to hold his first ever solo concert on July 17 at the Crossroads Center. Titled The Middle, the event will begin at 5 p.m. with general ticket sales opening on July 9 through the official online platform. Pablo is also scheduled to release his new single, Usad, on the same day as the concert. More details about the event are expected to be announced in the coming days. Millie Bobby Brown and David Harbour are set to reunite in a new untitled spy drama for Netflix, following their successful partnership in Stranger Things. The series, produced by A24, will be written and executive produced by Emmy Award winner Jack Thorne, with Brown and Harbour also serving as executive producers. The story follows a disgraced former FBI agent who returns to the field after his FBI agent daughter disappears during a mission. Netflix has not yet announced the series release date or the complete cast.
Filipino weightlifters Jody Peralta and Kirby Ken Alasas added 3 more silver medals to the Philippines medal haul at the IWF World Youth Championships in Cali, Colombia. Jody Peralta captured 2 silver medals in the women's 53-kilogram division after lifting 85 kilograms in the snatch and recording a total of 188 kilograms. She came close to winning a 3rd medal but finished 4th in the clean and jerk after successfully lifting 103 kilograms. Meanwhile, Kirby Ken Alasas also claimed a silver medal in the men's 60-kilogram snatch with a lift of 113 kilograms. He finished 5th in the clean and jerk and 4th in the overall total with 248 kilograms, missing another podium finish by just 1 kilogram. The Philippines continues its strong campaign in the tournament with a tally of 4 gold, 3 silver, and 1 bronze medals so far. Filipino boxer Mark Ashley Fajardo moved a step closer to the medal round after scoring a dominant first-round victory at the Asian Boxing U19 and U23 championships. Fajardo wasted no time in his men's U23 65-kilogram bout, dropping Indonesia's Laskar Putra with a powerful right hook. Following the mandatory 8-count, the referee stopped the contest and awarded Fajardo the win by Referee Stops Contest, or RSC, in the opening round. With a victory, Fajardo advances to face Uzbekistan's Ilkomjon Ergashev this Friday with a place in the semifinals and a guaranteed medal on the line. Meanwhile, it was a tough start for the rest of the Philippine team as LJ Pamisa and John Steven Di Maisip bowed out in the respective men's U23 55 and 60 kilogram bouts. The U19 division, Wendell Kaituna will look to keep the Philippines campaign going when he takes on Tajikistan's Sharifkon Nuraliyev in the men's 60 kilogram class.
As of 4 p.m. today, the center of the eye of Super Typhoon Inday with international name Bavi was seen at 1,170 kilometers east of northern Luzon with the maximum sustained winds of 195 kilometers per hour near the center and a gustiness of up to 240 kilometers per hour. It is moving westward at 20 kilometers per hour. Meanwhile, southwest monsoon is affecting Visayas and Mindanao. Catanduanes may expect rains with gusty winds, while eastern Visayas, the rest of the Bicol region, Zamboanga Peninsula, Barm, Palawan, Antique, Iloilo, Guimaras, Negros Occidental, Negros Oriental, Lanao del Norte, Sultan Kudarat, Sarangani, and South Cotabato may experience cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms, while the rest of Visayas, the rest of Mindanao and Metro Manila, and the rest of Luzon may encounter partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms. And our food for thought tonight comes from Rumi, a 13th century Persian poet, scholar, and mystic whose writings on love, wisdom, and the human spirit continue to inspire people around the world. And he once said, "Raise your words, not voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder." And before we end our newscast, please do take the time to like, subscribe, or share PTV's social media pages flashing on your screen right now. It would go a long way, and we would truly appreciate it. And so goes PTV News Tonight's roundup of tomorrow's headline stories. I'm Sharm Zespina.
I'm Jay Esteban. Join us again tomorrow on PTV News Tonight.